Among world leaders who are protective and cautious about his life is General Kaguta Museveni. When he was in Egypt, he refused to take tea for fear of taking the unknown. In fact, let me first play the video. Here's the tape. Clearly see that General Museveni refused to take some juice when he was in Egypt, and is very conscious about his life. Even here in Uganda, there is a day Miriam Matembe came out to narrate that even those who visit him in State House, when he sees you during the night, he comes covered up from the head to the toe to the head, yet you visitors are being feasted on by mosquitoes. Even when he's traveling, he uses one hand, he reserved one hand for himself for scratch for eating, he uses one hand for another public engagement. Even up to now, he still puts on masks to prevent not only COVID, because masks by they prevent other diseases, cough, flu, and others. Up to now, he uses masks to prevent diseases because he's conscious about his life. It's the reason why at 82, it doesn't look like 82 compared to other people who are in his age bracket. Okay? And as a person who wants change, I pray that we get change when he's still alive. I want General Museveni to see that Uganda can be led without himself. That's the only payback, the rightful amount to pay him back. Obote saw that Uganda was led by Museveni when he was in Zambia. I want General Museveni to see at least the remaining part of his life, to see that Uganda can be led without him, nor his family. I pray that those people who pray that General Museveni should die or not, I don't want him to die. I want him to witness the change Uganda badly needs. Away from that, when he was talking in Egypt, he talked about using the Nile to unleash the power of Uganda. In fact, that idea is very good. How can we be landlocked when we have a river that can be used to transport things to other countries? It can be used. We can maybe sign a deal, one engagement, so that the river can move, because our river can move from Uganda to the, I think, Red Sea, if I'm not mistaken. It can be used. In fact, General Museveni said these statements. Here's the tape.
Now people say Uganda is landlocked. But Uganda is not landlocked. At one time I was saying that Uganda is Bashir locked. Uganda is not landlocked. We have got a sea water, a waterway to the Mediterranean. You can come by water and by rail from Uganda up to Alexandria, because there is the Nile. And Nile is navigable most of the way. During the time of the British, we would go by boat from Uganda to Alexandria. But the political problems in the Sudan are the ones which blocked the route. So we are not landlocked. We are at one time I was saying Bashir locked, but now I don't know who is blocking us.
So if at all we can unleash the potential of River Nile, we can at least save very many countries from being landlocked. The only problem is some people have constructed dams on the Nile, so it can bring a certain problems. Two, these rivers also pass entirely in a nation. Any river or lake that is entirely in a nation cannot be they own it in exclusivity. For example, River Nile, the part which is in Uganda, cannot be claimed by other countries. It's not like an ocean. An ocean has nautical miles where, when I think the 122, when you exceed those miles away from your coast, the waters are international. That's the only problem. But even away from that, if we can sign a memoranda and we start using the Nile as something that can connect us to the coast, it's a masterstroke. I don't know if the countries which are nearing the coast can accept this, but it is one of the masterstroke that can unleash the full potential of the Nile. Because even the dams which are on the Nile, the return on investment on them is so small compared to the trade we can get. Countries prosper because of trade, technology trade and others, not because of dams. Because even right now, people are moving away from hydro power. They are moving to solars, they are moving to energy. Okay, they are moving to others, etc. Hydro is something in the past. So if we can unleash the full potential of the Nile, we can prosper. Let's continue with the video.
Hemeti, if there was no political conflict in Sudan, we could have a water rail link from Uganda to Alexandria, because the Nile is navigable most of the way. So I'm very happy to discuss with His Excellency. I will also discuss with the other leaders about the Nile. But bilaterally, we have got a very good relationship with Egypt under His Excellency. They supported us with the foot and mouth disease vaccines for the cow. And His Excellency has agreed to build a factory in Uganda for foot and mouth vaccine. I'm very happy with that. But generally speaking, as I will emphasize at the business center, business is about two things: producing a good or a service and somebody buying it. If you get leaders who don't see that, who don't see how to produce goods and services and how to market them, you will never get prosperity, because there's no other way. If I buy what you produce, I support you. My pocket is supporting your prosperity.
So that is General Kaguta Museveni when I was speaking about unlocking the full potential of the Nile. The only problem, however, is in here, Eastern Central Africa, Sudan, Egypt, we are pro-coups. Sudan is one of the countries with the most attempted coups and successful coups. Uganda, the same. We've never transferred power. If you go to South Sudan, the same is happening. They're just looking for power. If you go to Sudan and Egypt, it's the same. So even if you unlock the full potential of the Nile, it cannot be there without sabotage. Because these countries, if Sudan is not fighting, the day Sudan will get peace, the South Sudan will be fighting. The Sudan get peace, we shall be seeing unrest in Egypt. Even us in Uganda, we are moving towards a failed state because General Museveni has refused to relinquish power. Let me tell you, General Museveni has done a lot of things, but the biggest outstanding positive thing that he will do is to leave power in peaceful means, organize election, and we get a transition. If General Museveni, God forbid, dies in power, he would have undone all his achievements, because the main point as to why he went to the bush, one is because of electoral malpractice. Two, he even wrote a book. He said that the African problems is people who stay long in power, and they have stayed for 40 years. So he has undone each and everything that he stood for. Okay, so the best gift General Museveni can give to the entire country is to relinquish power, hold a free and fair election so that we can transit. Other than that, General Museveni will have a bad history. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop me a comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. I remain yours, Mr. Makinde, Kabye Sulaiman Mawagali, the next MP for Makinde East constituency. I will see you on another one. Peace.